Good morning. It's Friday, August 2nd. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of WEX Wakeup. I'm Natasha Sweet. President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris greeted freed American prisoners at Joint Base Andrews. Our Naomi Lim has more on reaction from the administration.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan grew emotional in the White House press briefing room as he recounted details about the prisoner swap.
From the president on down, we've stayed in regular and routine touch with them. I spent a lot of time with the families of Evan and Paul and Alsu. And most of the time, as you can imagine, those are tough conversations. But not today. Today, excuse me. Today was a very good day. And we're going to build on it, drawing inspiration and continued courage from it for all of those who are held hostage or wrongfully detained around the world.
While Sullivan and White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre took steps to elevate Vice President Kamala Harris's role in the swap, they didn't do the same for President Joe Biden's criticism of former President Donald Trump. I'm Naomi Lim for the Washington Examiner.
Will it reverse his conviction? Former President Donald Trump's attorneys say the tweets that prosecutors cited as evidence in his hush money New York trial were actually covered by immunity protections.
And everybody knows, as far as everybody is concerned, if you read the great legal scholars and experts, everybody said this is a trial that is nonsense. It should have never been brought.
Trump attorney Todd Blanche argued the Manhattan District Attorney's efforts to rebut any presumptive immunity are deeply flawed. He argued the Supreme Court has recognized a president's posts on X, formerly known as Twitter, are pursuant to his official authority to comment on matters of public concern. Ever since the Supreme Court ruled partially in favor of Trump on July 1st, Trump's lawyers have asserted the decision should invalidate the New York jury's guilty verdict against him. Judge Juan Merchan has pushed the sentencing to September 18th. Non-sanctuary cities and states could retaliate against sanctuary cities who are shipping out migrants from their streets over to Republican jurisdictions.
I think the border is probably has been a linchpin for our nation. We realized, first of all, how well it was being addressed when President Trump was in.
Representative Burgess Owens will debut legislation to cut off hundreds of millions of dollars in federal emergency management agency funding to cities who use that money to ship migrants to other towns. In a statement to the Washington Examiner, Owens said, "We have migrants showing up at our airports, bus stations, and city halls with no support services or sponsors after being dumped by so-called sanctuary cities." Owens was spurred into action after Salt Lake City received migrants from Denver in June. Denver is one of countless cities nationwide grappling to deal with more than 5 million illegal immigrants who crossed the border and have been allowed to remain in the country since President Biden took office in January of 2021. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this edition of WEX Wake Up. For more stories, be sure to head on over to our website and give us a follow on social media so you can stay in the know on all that's trending in politics. Have a wonderful weekend.